Good? Alright. Apparently you turn your phone sideways and you are no longer broadcasting, at least in my current settings. Okay. Hello?
Check. Okay. Yeah. Basically, this is like the roughly, well, okay, I just had my birthday and I'm 33 now, so it's about 22 years since I started just learning to play music. And again, it's like my anchor, I guess, to tether me wherever I'm at. Nothing Else Matters was the first song I ever learned to play, and honestly, that has a lot of things involved in it, right? So it's if you are going to try to be self-taught, you got to think about everything that goes into it. So first you look up the chord sheet, which when I change songs, that's what I got. It's like a tablet I got on Wish, and it's not even connected to the internet most of the time. It just shows me my songs. So first thing you got to do, there's like, I don't know, music theory, however many chords you want to be able to know, and you can mostly just start with. Once you know those four, almost any song in the world you could at least roughly play. And that's why a lot of people get criticized, because every song you do sounds the same. Well, there's a reason for that. I just learned to do it, and it took me about 1 year to be able to play and kind of sing Nothing Else Matters by Metallica. And again, this was just, I was homeschooled, this was part of my education. That guitar was paid for by the state of Ohio, believe it or not. And I was trying to learn with it, because that's what it was for, and that's what we got the money for. So that's what I did. And that's how long it took me. I learned those chords, practice. You gotta, honestly, even the fact, if you can put your fingers in the right place, that's a good start. But then you need the finger strength to actually, that's what it sounds like, because those are the strings that are open, right? That one's open, this one has my finger on it. Then to actually play the full chord, all 6 strings, you gotta hold it down. And notice a lot of these are repeated notes at this point, but it's just, that's what it sounds like open, that's what it sounds like close and hammer on. Or then you go, that's the sound you can make. And the basic idea of a guitar is each one of these metal ribs here has a string pulled across it exactly the right way. It's yay long, it's got metal and stuff, but ultimately that's open, that's deadened, that is with it successfully put to the fret. So finger strength, honestly, is a lot of this. That's why it might have took me that long. And then it's coordination, because once you can do that and this, you have to be able to go as fast as possible, because whatever song you're playing, there's only so long until that chord changes. So the first thing I did is, and you notice I went a little faster that last time. All these cryptic things on music notation, that's because certain people like Ben Folds is a genius with this stuff. He was one of the songs I played in the first clip. Honestly, if you study music theory and how to read music, you eventually understand how all of it works. And that's kind of a language, a universal language, that you can talk to anybody in, because you're also touching their soul. And so playing like I did with just a chord sheet is very different. Nice thing is it gets you access to any chord sheet anyone's ever made, but all the information you have, and I'll actually show you one.
Here we go. This is an interesting song, and I'll come back to why. That's what the notation looks like, right? So it's just a line of music and the word, or the letter D above it, and then later on over whole there's A minor and then E minor. And this, honestly, if you go to a site called ultimateguitar.com, It's kind of like Yelp, except the only thing it is I want to play this song, show me a chord sheet, and then people vote and rank. Is that 4 stars, 5 stars? It's kind of like that. So if you want to do what I did and just know what chords to play and when and what the lyrics are, so you can start practicing, that's a whole art form, knowing how to do that. And obviously, like we said before, knowing what the lyrics actually are. But if you want to just get started, I googled Nothing Else Matters by Metallica, and it showed me a list. And the first things were very accurate tablatures, right? And that is a whole different notation that's a later step in the process. But just the letters, because it's Metallica and people like to hear it exactly the right way, you will not see a chord sheet like this ranked very high. So there's categories you can skim through, and you go down to one labeled chords. And even then, there's rankings, but then the question is, how complicated is it? How closely does that version of what they were playing match with what they actually played? But at least you have a starting point. So I found like kind of one of more the dumbed down versions of Nothing Else Matters. And anyway, we were doing G, C, E minor, D, because that, again, is the most basic. Metallica's good because they fucked with that formula, right? And that's what people find interesting. But if you're going to start somewhere, you don't necessarily have to pick the most meaningful song in your life like I did. Just find something basic and we'll pick something. If you know the song, the chords and the progression, that chord, those 4, it's called a chord progression, right? That is one piece of thing that artist created, right? If I can remember that in my head as a thing, then remembering a telephone number, right? They break it up 334. It's kind of like a social security number, but to get to your specific phone. And people have figured out a long time ago that chunking is taking a complicated thing like a string of 7 digits. You know, if I just string out 7 digits to you right now and read it, most of you couldn't even type fast enough to get it right. If, however, I say 419, 496, now that's 2 pieces, and as long as you heard it right, that's 2 things stuck in your brain. And then we get to the one that's literally just you, 2412, right? So we have created a technology called mnemonics to make something complicated easier to remember. And that's how people used to know who. Like if I want to call Jill, this is her number, that's in my head, it's up here. It's kind of a mental map or a mind palace. Different people have developed this same thing, so there's different names, but you're essentially coding this song into my brain. And so, what all do we want to talk about? Yeah, 4 chords. As you know, I just played through them and eventually something occurred to me that sounds like that, right? See now, and this is weird, I started writing songs on a YouTube channel, accidentally went viral one time in northeastern Europe because I played a certain song I really liked, no one had ever heard of it, but because I played it, there was like 3,000 views within X number of time. So that channel, I have it all marked private. So I get to decide from that channel if I ever share that song again. I know what the numbers look like. But at some point I decide, okay, this is so far, and it's too complicated, so I'm just going to shut it down. I need to escape. But at some point, especially during my transition, I realized, you know what, you're different now. And it's kind of like a journal. The reason I don't like that channel is because I look back and see what I was playing then, and I judge it. Which, if you're a musician, is what you should do if you want to get better. But also, if you're trying to be motivated to get better, you need to not accidentally judge wherever you are right now. So I am very particular about when I look at that channel, and I also am super, super careful about who I ever let see that channel, for now. But anyways, once I was transitioning, I started to realize this is actually a record of me, you know, what I was playing then. And so as I'm going through transition, we're still learning really what transitioning feels like. But when I watch this video, I will be captivated by whatever I saw. And then when I go back, I will see a boy who is 11 years old or whenever I started doing that, and I will get to just see the two. And that's when I start to realize you are a different person. Because normally it's called the boiling the frog. Essentially, if a frog hops into a pot of cold water and just stays there because frogs like it, that's fine. And then you turn on the heat slowly, little by little, the temperature rises. And because they're amphibians, their metabolism is tied to the temperature of the water. So if you ever wanted to cook a frog, all you got to do is plop it in and slowly heat that up. Because the frog will not even notice it's happening until it's already dead. And so for me and for trans people, our whole experience, whether it's trans women, trans men, non-binary, anybody on that spectrum, and we're all brand new, we're still fighting about what to call each other, everybody essentially has a vision of themselves that is different from wherever they are now. And so we learn very practical skills. What do I change about myself to approach a little closer to that? And as I'm watching these songs, I realize I have accidentally created the perfect record, you know, of where I was, where I am now. And so when I find it hard to look in the mirror, believe it or not, these videos, and I occasionally have posted them so you know what I'm talking about, that is the best way for me to break out of my head and consume it like someone else. Consume, what an amazing word. I will get into that more later, I'm sure. But basically, you know, if I look in the mirror, I almost literally do not see what everybody else sees. And that's the hard part. I still see that 11-year-old boy. And I feel what he felt even then. So it's boiling the frog. I do this one day at a time, and 22 years later, I'm able to do what I'm doing now. And that's how hard this is. But it's also how awesome, because that whole time, this is the first time I even thought about, well, who would I do this for? Because it was all just me. And people will sound arrogant to you, because they will brag almost, and it sounds grumpy and egotistical, that they would say, I don't give a fuck about your opinion of my music. Bob Dylan was the voice of a generation. But whenever you say that to him, he gets angry. Because he was part of the hippie movement. He was, in some ways, the voice of the hippie movement. But he wasn't trying to do that. He was doing the exact same thing I was doing in the time he was in. And there's so much documentation on how that happened, but basically at some point we just decided, Bob Dylan, you changed it all. And he is uncomfortable with being in that position because he was there and he remembers what that means. So it's always important to remember, I might be getting paid because you paid to show up, but you did pay to show up. And this is what I do, not what you are buying me. And people get arrogant about that, like, fuck you, get off of my face. You know, this is me. But when we look at the world and look at like how their lives have changed for doing this, there is a reason this is the first time anyone on the internet can look and find me doing this as I'm doing it. I am exactly where I wanted to be when I was ready, and it's taken 22 years. So just think about that whenever you hear Taylor Swift or Billie Eilish. Especially if you're planning to judge. There was a process, and you know very, very little of it. The tip of the iceberg is all you get to see when we do this for you. So, any drama, just remember, whatever you care to think about, for at least 50 years now, someone has been getting paid very good money to try and control what you just thought about. So think about why they did it. I'm lost in the world. I'm down on my mind. I'm building a city, but I'm down for the night. I'm down for the night. You guys ever seen that picture of the dude just sitting on an iron rebar way up in the sky? This is kind of about that. He's on a lunch break. And it's fantastic because someone realized this will be a really important thing to look at someday. But for him, he was just at work. He was up on there, the safest thing to do is just sit down and grab your lunchbox. But when he was done, he would go back and build a city, just like he just said. And so this guy is kind of considering, what is my life? And that is why roughly every year around my birthday, I take very serious consideration, what am I doing? Where am I trying to go? And does what I'm doing today, what I'm caring about today, reflect that? And so that's kind of what this sorry. It's kind of what this song's about. I'm never alone down the line. I'm lost in the world. Down my whole life, down my whole life, down my whole life. I'm new to the city, but I'm down for the night, down for the night, down for the night. You're my devil, you're my angel, you're my heaven, you're my hell. You're my now, you're my forever. You're my freedom, you're my jail. You're my lies, you're my truth. You're my war, you're my truth. You're my questions, you're my proof. You're my stress and you're my masseuse. Let's break out of this fake ass party. Turn this into a classic night. If we die in each other's arms, still get laid in the afterlife. If we die in each other's arms, still get laid. I'm up in the world, and I'm down on my mind. I'm building a city, but I'm down for the night, 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 yeah, yeah. I'm lost in the woods, I'm down my whole life. I'm building a city, but I'm down for the night, down for the night, down. Ah, here we go. This is good. If you go to the Twin Cities, St. Paul, Minnesota, Minneapolis, there's a very interesting music culture there, and this song is from that. And the guy that performed it is one of my very favorites, and almost nobody knows who he is. So this is how we create attraction, right? The idea that that place is part of my heart, and so I want to go there. Because honestly, the name's Astronautilus, I'm pretty sure, but there's also Doomtree up there, and it's interesting trying to view that from afar. But the one time I just literally quoted a song that had touched me, and that guy, under his band name, found it on the internet and liked it. And I've thought about that ever since it happened, literally. So here we go. The lines are too long just to read it like that, so... Oh, come on. Well, maybe I can just... How do I zoom that out? Whatever. Sitting on a futon now in the squad, and outside, Kevin the second said to me in passing, "Well, age never meant shit to me. It's all about heart and stupidity. Thought that there's no better way to live. We were on the steps and one note, she bit my lip and choked my throat. A highball glass shining above our head. Seemed her lover listened through the walls while we were kissing on and on. She left and spent the night alone instead. I couldn't tell you, dear, which one whispers in my ear, the devil or St. Andrew, but I know it's time to go. And I'm sure you've got some great theories. If I'm hunting something, what's hunting me? No, glow. Oh no, oh no. I know what you dream of, a dream of the two roads that are endless and rooms that are huge. The visions of heaven and nightmares I'm having, all I know is I'm scared of the truth. The world could end very soon, and all we've accomplished is moon. We'll coat the carpet in gasoline, strike a last match, and then leave before the world is consumed. So I'll cover my hand in tattoos, and I'll kiss any woman that moves. There's no law to forgive me, and physics is tricky, so I'll know I'm scared of the truth. And all that I'm left with is you. All that I'm left with is you. I couldn't tell you, dear, which one whispers in my ear, the devil or St. Andrew, but I know it's time to go. And I'm sure you've got a great theory, whether I'm hunting something or if it's hunting me, but I know there ain't no right way to measure the glow. Oh no. Here we go. Justin Timberlake. Very similar to what all we've been talking about. You guys know where Macaulay Culkin is now? Home Alone? Yeah, but why would you care? He gave you something. He told a story when he was very, very young. And his life now isn't necessarily your business. So I remember Justin Timberlake, Britney Spears, Miley Cyrus, all these people started on the Disney Channel as children. And so when you think about Justin Timberlake versus Miley Cyrus and all that and wonder what they're doing now, remember, somebody cared whether you were going to think that even 10 years ahead of time when they were children. All you need to care about, honestly, is this song right now, how do I feel? Aren't you something to admire? 'Cause you shine something like a mirror, and I can't help but notice you reflect in this heart of mine. If you ever feel alone and the glare makes me hard to find, just know that I'm always parallel on the other side. 'Cause with your hand in my hand and a pocket full of soul that can tell you there's no place we couldn't go, just put your hand on the glass and I'll be trying to pull you through. You just gotta be strong. And when I went, oh, that was because this song got me. And at the time, people were like, oh, is that what JT's doing? And honestly, I don't care what JT's doing versus the Disney Channel. I don't even remember what they were doing with them back then. This song just told me, you, when I look inside you, I see myself, and that means nowhere in this world could you go that I'm not there with you. And that's what mattered. That's all I cared about. Still all I care about. So I don't wanna lose you now. I'm looking right at the other half of me, but they can see that's set in my heart. It's a space that now you hold. Show me how to fight for now, and I'll tell you, baby, that it was easy coming back to you when I figured it out. 'Cause you were right there all along. And it's like in my mirror, whoa, my mirror staring back at me. I couldn't get any bigger with anyone else beside of me. And now it's clear as the strongest that we're making two reflections in one. It's like in my mirror, whoa, my mirror staring back at me, staring back at me. And also I went, oh, there are days in your life where if you're paying attention you can go, that was a moment, that is important. And so I said this song really mattered, and I actually had a very good friend at the time who was also a music nerd, so we would talk about this stuff. And the Mirror song came on, and I liked it and started singing from the back seat, just quietly, because I'm in the back seat. It's not my job what's on the radio. And she was like, you know, what you do when it's the radio is you sometimes click, scan, wait, click, scan, wait, check everything on the whole frequency. And I was in the back still humming that song. And then when she clicked back, JT and I were singing at the exact same rate, right? So we were doing a duet, sort of. And she, because she's a music nerd, for whatever reason, she decided, I'll see what's out there. And then she got back, and she was the one that noticed, what just happened? Because I had so clearly, again, that mind palace, that song was a part of me. So when I was singing it, it's like my head's a metronome, you know, click, click, click. And that's literally how you make sure you're singing at the right speed at the right time. And so she went all the way through the radio, and when she got back, I was still just back there doing my own thing, enjoying the song. That was what it is. Launch is something to admire. Aren't you something, an original? Cause it doesn't seem nearly as simple, and it can't help but stare, cause I see truth somewhere in your eyes. And I can't ever change without you, and you reflect me, and I love that about you. And if I could, I would look at us all the time. Cause with your hand in my hand and a pocket full of soul, it can tell you there's no place we couldn't go. Just put your hand on the past and I'll be trying to pull you through. You just gotta be strong. And it's like in the mirror, well, my mirror staring back at me. So with your hand in my hand and a pocket full of soul, I could tell you there's no place we couldn't go. Put your hand on the past, I'll be trying to pull you through. You just gotta be strong. Cause I don't wanna lose you now. And I'm looking right at the other half of me. The vacancy that's set in my heart, it's a space and now you hold. So show me how to fight for now, and I'll tell you, baby, that it was easy coming back into you once I figured it out. You were right here all along. And see what I'm doing? I'm gonna stop. And you can feel it, right? There was at least something else coming. So the fact I chose to stop, all by itself, is a choice that I'm making, and you know that. And so when I leave the song, you're gonna fill in your head, what was she about to sing? Wait a minute, what? And so I've now created mental real estate in that mind palace that we talked about, because you've got that song, and this is happening to affect that memory. And now every time you sing that song to yourself later, you also have me there. It's called a semantic connection. It is basically how you buy up the space in one person's heart if you're sitting right in front of them. Obviously I do this to learn to get better, so I have a literal way, an algorithm, to how I warm myself up. First, see the capo? What this does, we talked about the strings, this guy is just a little clampy to go right behind one of the frets in exactly the right spot and clamp them down, and that changes the entire instrument. But as long as you remember, this is G, that's D. You know, what you've done is you know how to play the song, and you have just raised it 1, 2, 3, however many frets. If you know music theory like Ben Folds, you can sit in your mind and go, okay, I want to go here, 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 here. But because I was self-taught, I was just trying to explore, you know, find the space. And so what I decided to do, I will leave the capo on the guitar, but not use it, play a song uncapoed, and then I would just randomly pick somewhere to start in a song, and that randomizes which key I'm going to sing in. It's fun stuff. It's like rolling a bit of dice, and the next song is whatever you play. The next version of the next song. Common failing though. Basically, see how that's kind of quiet? If I go down here like this and just squeeze it, that's because when it clamps, one of the problems is the friction back here and exactly how this thing's made doesn't necessarily get the string on and held in a on position. So each of these do sound different by the exact amount theoretically that you want. but mostly you check the high string, and if it's dead, or if it's right, you can kind of know that that capo just worked. Well, it's a marvelous night for a moon day, with the stars up above in the sky. It's a fantabulous evening for romance, beneath the color of October sky. You know, moonlight's magic is falling to the sound of the breezes that blow, and I'm trying to place to the calling of your heartstrings that play soft and low. You know, the night's magic seems to whisper and hush. You know, the soul of moonlight seems to shine in your blood. Can I just have one more moon dance with you, my love? Can I just have one more romance with you, my love? Well, I wanna make love to you tonight. I can't wait till the morning has come, and I know that the time is just right, and straight into my arms you will run. When you come, my heart will be waiting to make sure that you're never alone. And there and then all my dreams will come true, dear. There and then I will make you my own. If anyone thinks jazz is stupid, basically, and I thought so too, there's a joke on The Office about it, but that right there that we were talking about, that's all it is. They were trying to understand music, they figured out there's 3 or 4 at least tracks to kind of slide up and down, and they were just playing with the fact that, like I said, I can sing this slightly different if I want. And then the guy next to me, if we're a good band team, he can react to that. So I go up, he goes down, we make music, quote unquote, with what we just did to the music. And if you're doing it randomly, then being there in that room, sitting there, is the only time in history, really, you will ever hear that version live. So even then, before they were doing this live, right, there's a kind of a myth about I don't even remember his name, but African-American artists had this own culture of like, we're going to work in the fields and then go chill in the bar. And so one of the ways you could play music at that time was to be black, to be there, and entertain them. And already we have a music industry out of that. So this one kid is trying to make money that way and realizes he's not good at it. So the story is he just disappeared for a couple years and then he came back, and no one could honestly figure out what he was even doing. It took him years to figure out. But this was all before recorded media. So we don't even know. We have no idea what that guy was doing with that guitar to make him feel that way, because there was no video at the time. You couldn't make an 8-track tape and charge X amount of dollars for it. You just had to be there. And that's how the music industry used to work. You're spinning up a magic experience for someone who's trying to drink, forget the day, remember, talk to your friends, all of that. And if you do it right, they will never again feel the way that you just made them feel. Well, I wanna make love to you tonight. Can't wait till the morning has come, and I know that the time is just right, and straight into my arms you will run. Can I just help one more moon dance with you, my love? Can I just make some more romance with you, my love? I guess we're done with that. Let's see. This actually, I don't think anyone's back yet. Yeah, I am live. Cool. No one's watching, but it will record it. Jessica was watching earlier, and this song was played at her wedding and my brother Ben, and I was there. So again, I got to feel. Anyway, Imagine Dragons, who I mentioned earlier, also played a song that has changed how I think about life. So when people started bitching about, well, they're just the new Nickelback, really, I'm not going to listen to that. I don't care what just made. I listen to every single Imagine Dragons song, and I've always cared. I didn't necessarily like it, but it always reminds me of that wedding, and that will never stop mattering to me. So. Well, if you love somebody, better tell them while they're here, 'cause they just might run away from you. You never know what went well, then again it just depends on how long of time is left for you. Well, I've had the highest mountains and I've swam the deepest river. You can have it all but not to prove it. And take it in and don't look down, 'cause I'm on top of the world. I'm on top of the world. Waiting on this for a while now. I'm paying my dues to the dirt, and I've been waiting to smile, hey, holding it in for a while, hey. I'll take you with me if I can. I've been dreaming of this since a child. I'm on top of the world. I'm on top of the world. Oh, 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 try to cut these corners, try to take that easy way down. I kept on falling short of something, and I could have gave up then, but then again I couldn't have, 'cause I gave it all away for nothing. Take it in and don't look down. I'm on top of the world. I'm on top of the world. Been waiting on this for a while now. I'm paying my dues to the dirt. I've been waiting to smile, hey, holding it in for a while, hey. Take you with me if I can. I've been dreaming of this since a child. I'm on top of the world. Oh, 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 here we go. Sometimes when you find out the story of the song ahead of people, it can make next things go crazy. So what would you guess is the one song that the church might have talked about this morning? I would guess Montero, right? And so that guy, we know him now as like, he's expressing the fact that he's gay, you know, he's talking about the devil, he's talking about being in jail. But it also matters where he came from and what we felt about that. And then if you look even deeper, you can figure out how did he start. And this guy, believe it or not, this gay man, started by creating fake accounts of Nicki Minaj and just manipulating the feed around her to generate interest. And it's technically kind of iffy, and I don't know if it's legal or not at this point, but that's how he learned how to vault the next song. And also it was funny, and it was lots of things. Anyway. Yeah, I'm gonna take my horse to the old town road. I'm gonna ride till I can't no more. I'm gonna take my horse to the old town road. I'm gonna ride till I can't no more. There we go. This is a pick from a sour cream. Basically, one of my brothers gave me a tool that you can cut your own pick, and they included sheets of plastic and one that's kind of thick to get the medium, but I just kind of cut whatever I can and see what it sounds like. So this is a very soft one. What I did is I felt my nails start to scrape off as I was playing it, and I want this next part to be softer and probably the whole song after that. got the horses in the back, and the horse tack is the tax. Hat is matty black, got the boots is black to match. Riding on a horse, yep, you can whip your Porsche. I've been up in the valley, and you ain't been up off that porch now. Can't nobody tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing. Ain't nobody tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing. Riding on a tractor, lean all in my bladder, cheated on my baby, and you can go and ask her. My life is a movie, just go riding in boobies. Wrangler on my booty, cowboy hat from Gucci. Can't nobody tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Can't tell me nothing. So what do we think? It's a black guy riding a cowboy, or riding a horse. All these images already have things in our heads that are associated with it. What he did is he took himself as a black man and just said, I'm going to take a Western song that they also used to sing driving in herds, so we care about that as a culture, but we think a certain person owns that genre of music. And so he just, with his marketing manipulation mind, he said, okay, what's one way that I can show up and people go, ha ha? Knowing what he was planning for now, that's how he got us to care in the first place. He was like, look, a black cowboy. What was it? Yeah, I'm gonna take my horse to the old town road. I'm gonna ride until I can't no more. I'm gonna take my horse to the old town road. I'm gonna ride until I can't no more. Anyway. Moving on. Another band that a lot of people make fun of because they spend their time in California surfing and skateboarding and singing about weed. If you actually listen to RHCP, Red Hot Chili Peppers, stop thinking about that they were this big when you were that young and now you're this old. You can just sometimes figure out what the song is about and that it still means a lot to you. How long will I slide and separate my side? I don't believe it's bad. Yeah, slit in my throat, that's all I ever. I discover meanings to songs after I find out that they mean something to me. And I have to deal with that, you know, that has a place in my heart, so what's it mean? What's it mean now? What's it mean now? 22 years later, what does this mean now? Heard your voice through a funnel crowd, thought it up and brought up our past, and once you know, you'll never go back. I gotta take it on the other side. Take it on. I'll take it on. Centuries are what a man to me. A cemetery where I marry the sea. But stranger things have never changed my mind. I gotta take it on the other side. Take it on the other side. She's in my bed, a candidate for my soulmate bled. Push the trigger and I'll pull the thread. I gotta take on, take me for a hot ride. Burn me out and leave me on the other side. I yell it, tell it that it's not my friend. I tear it down and let it fall again. How long will I fight just to separate my side? 'Cause I don't believe it's bad. And it's all I hear about. Since I was 17, no matter if I'd step on the scene, I sneak away to the Philippines. I still won't put pictures in the diary or in the magazine. You want a piece of me? I miss bad media karma, another day, another drama. Guess I can't see the harm in working in media and a mama, and with a kid on my arm. I'm still an exceptional earner. You want a piece of me? You want a piece of me? I miss his lifestyles of the rich and famous. You want a piece of me? And this is, oh my God, that Britney shameless. You want a piece of me? This is extra, this just in. You want a piece of me? And this is, she's too big, she's too thin. You want a piece of me? Well, I miss American dreams since I was 17. No matter if I step on the scene, I sneak away to the Philippines. I still don't put pictures on my diary or in the magazine. You want a piece of me? You want a piece of me? I won't say anything. Well, my thing's dying, so I think 2 more songs, guys. Yep, pretty sweaty. The TV and the radio, and still I can't escape the ghost of you. What has happened to crazy, some will say? Where is the life that I recognize? It's gone away. Try to make my way to the ordinary world, I've learned to survive. Is it passion or coincidence that prompted you to say pride will tear us both apart? Love's gone out the window, it's crying across the rooftops, blown away, and left me in the bathroom of my heart. But what has happened to me? It's crazy, some say. Where is my friend when I need you most? Gone away. I won't cry for yesterday. There's an ordinary world somehow I have to find. As I try to make my way to the ordinary world, I will learn to survive. Duran Duran again. A lot of people, when they hear that name, will just go, haha, disco. Okay, so 2 more. There we go. Sometimes they say, alright, so first of all, Coke and Pepsi, right? Everyone's got a favorite, everyone cares, blah, blah, blah. The reality is, Pepsi wins almost every single taste test. Coke is bought more. Okay, so that's the data. Now we ask, what does that mean? And the best theory is, Pepsi tastes better if you take a sip of it with a blindfold. Literally. If you're going to drink the whole thing, or however much, you want Coke, because that feels good, and it's associated with the memories, which people think it's all mental, but honestly, Coke's recipe is private. So maybe whatever they gave you is slightly more fulfilling or healthy or whatever, but bottom of the line, Pepsi wins contests, Coke wins the race. Well, I was reading Slim Errands and I got to thinking. I thought, well, maybe I'd get less stress if I was tested less, like all these debutantes, smiling for miles in pink dresses, high heels and white yards. But I'm not. Baby, I'm not. No, I'm not that. I'm not. So I've been tearing around in my fucking nightgown, 24/7 Sylvia Plath, writing in blood on the wall, 'cause the ink in my pen don't work in my notepad. If you ask if I'm happy and you know that I'm not, the best I can say, I'm not sad. And hope is a dangerous thing for a woman like me to have. Lifetime 15-year dances, church basement romances, and I've cried. Well, except for the stage that I also call home, when I'm done serving up God in a burned coffee pot for the triad. Hello, this is the most famous. Hello, it's the most famous woman, you know, from the iPad. Beyond the grave. But I've been tearing up town in this fucking white gown, like a goddamn new sociopath. And shaking my ass is the only thing that's got this black narcissist off my back. She couldn't care less, and I've never cared more. There's no more to say about that, except hope is a dangerous thing for a woman like me to have. Hope is a dangerous thing for a woman with my past. There's this new revolution, it's a loud evolution that I've saw, and it's born of confusion and quiet collusion, of which mostly I've known. A modern day woman with my weak constitution, and I've got monsters still under my bed that I could never fight off. I'm the gatekeeper, carelessly dropping my keys on the night song. But I've been tearing up town in this fucking nightgown, 24/7 Sylvia Plath, writing in blood on the wall, 'cause the ink in this pen don't look good in my pad. They write that I'm happy, and they know that I'm not. The best you could say, I'm not sad. But hope is a dangerous thing for a woman like me to have. Hope is a dangerous thing for a woman like me to have. But I have it. I have it, and I have it. Yeah, I have it. Alright, I lied one more, sorry. I mean, I can see the percentage of my battery, so I guess I can go till I'm done. But, blue jeans, white shirt, walked into the room and yo, it made my eyes burn. It was like James Dean, for sure, and you're so fresh to death, sick as cancer, but you were sort of punk rock. I grew up on hip-hop and you fit me better than my favorite sweater. And I know that love is mean and love hurts, but I still remember that day we met in December. Oh baby, I will love you till the end of time. I'd wait a million years, promise you'll remember you're mine. And baby, can you see through the tears? Love you more than the bitches before. Say you'll remember, oh baby, say you'll remember, oh baby. I will love you till the end of time. Big dreams, gangster, and said you had to leave to start your life over. I was like, no please, stay here. We don't need no money, we can make it all work. But he headed out on Sunday and said he'd come on Monday. So I stayed up waiting, anticipating and pacing, and he was chasing paper, caught up up in the game, and that's the last I've heard. You went out every night, baby, that's alright. Told you that no matter what you could have me by your side. 'Cause I'm a ride or die, well you would fail a flight. Well shit, at least you tried. But when you walked down the door, a piece of me died. Told you I wanted more, that's not what I had in mind. Just wanted like before, we were dancing all night. Then they took you away, stole you out of my life. You just need to remember, I will love you till the end of time. And I'd wait a million years. Promise you'll remember that you're mine. Baby, can you see through the tears? Love you more than the bitches before. Say you remember, baby, say you'll remember, baby. I will love you till the end of time. Probably what a great note to go out on. Monsters. Arizona sky that's burning in your eyes. 'Cause you look at me, and babe, I'd like to catch on fire. You're buried in my soul, like California gold. 'Cause you found the light in me that I couldn't find. I'm all choked up, but I can't find no words. Every time we say goodbye, baby, it hurts. When the sun goes down and the band won't play, well, I'll always remember us this way. Lovers in the night, we're poets trying to write, but we don't know how to rhyme, and damn, we'll try. And all I really know is you're where I wanna go. There's a part of me and you that'll never die. When I'm all choked up and I can't find the words, well, every time we say goodbye, baby, it hurts. But if the sun goes down, oh, the band won't play, I'll always remember us this way. Baby, yeah. Oh, 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 when I'm all choked up and I can't find the words, well, every time we say goodbye, baby, it hurts. And when the sun goes down, or the band won't play, I will always remember us. of me, and the whole world fades always remember. Alright, really, this is the last one, because if I keep going after this, I will feel I have trespassed. No explanation. I'm running out of battery. Take me down to the riverbed. Take me down to a fighting end. You can wash the poison from off my skin, or show me how to be whole again. Fly me up on the silver wing, out past the black when the sirens sing. Hold me up in the Nova's glow, and drop me down to the dream below. 'Cause I'm only a crack in this castle of glass. Hardly anything there for you to see, for you to see. Which direction I hold the pick, believe it or not, makes a difference whether I drop it. Bring me home in a blinding dream, through the secrets that I have seen, to wash the sorrow from off my skin, then show me how to be whole again. But I'm only one crack in a castle of glass. Hardly anything there you could see. 'Cause I'm only a crack in this castle of glass. Hardly anything else I need to be. Thank you so much.